Welcome to episode 19 of Scorned by Muses. Times Square is dead.
We're back in Times Square again, this time to talk about the actor, filmmaker, and poet, Peter Vack.
I bumped into Peter at a bar recently, and he threw himself at me. I didn't even know he knew who I was, but he invited me to come, practically begged me to come see his movie, RachelOrmond.com, at the Roxy. A couple of weeks later, when I showed up at his apartment on the night of the screening, he pretended like he didn't remember that he had invited me. But he had clearly carefully considered the mise en scène. He had composed an image of himself in his head before I arrived. A VHS copy of the Dylan doc Don't Look Back was playing on a small white CRT television, which he told me he had considered throwing away. A line conjured ahead of time to draw attention to his judiciously chosen prop.
It's good I'm cleaning. It's kind of like, it's a good action, and I think people need to know that I like my room clean. People in New York think that they're like the cultural vanguard and everyone's obsessed with them, and it's like, unfortunately, they're right. These are new sheets. I kept getting like styes in my eye, and I realized that I think it may have been because my sheets were so dirty. So these are new.
You were pooping on your sheets?
I was not doing that. I was just neglectful of I was neglecting the sheets. Part of what the movie does is it's, the internet is set in the stage. And it was 2022. It was a very good time to do this because I think the quality of being extremely online had gone mainstream for the first time, because of the COVID lockdowns. I think if we had done it later, it would have been cringe, and if we had done it too early, I think people wouldn't have known what we were going for, but it was just a very lucky time. And because of my profile and the Ion Pack, my producers, and Dasha, who was in the film, us posting about it brought people who were even more primed for this to exercise these internet demons. On the one hand, I understand that press is press, although I think we might be in an all press is bad press moment, honestly.
You think so?
Well, because take this for example. Yeah. I'm doing my best to just be myself here, but and some people will see this and go, oh, I like Peter. But then for every person that sees this and goes, I like Peter, there will be either one or two people that go, fuck that guy. I knew he sucked. Even though I just saw him clean his apartment, he sucks. Look, all press generates a wide variety of emotions. But look, that's what we're going for, clearly, you and me, right?
Well, it's a question of what do you want? What do you want? Do you want people to say nice things about you? Do you want people to say, wow, Peter Vack is a genius and a great artist and an amazing filmmaker? Or do you want, money and notoriety?
Peter couldn't answer, but I personally am only in it for the money.
Speaking of money, please support us on Patreon.
Anyway, we had to get to the screening, so Peter showered and I sat in the living room snooping through his bookshelf and personal belongings. He emerged from the bathroom fully clothed and poured me a glass of box wine.
Here you
Oh.
go. I'm a better host than you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
To the death of Times Square. The scene that emerged around the buzzword Times Square around 2020 is not something I really felt I was a part of. It was more of an internet phenomenon than an IRL movement. I had been involved in a slightly earlier moment, and my films Art Boy 1 and 2 were my response to that moment. I moved to the area now known as Times Square in 2017. I was 28 years old and I felt young. I had only just moved to New York 2 years earlier, and the city still felt full of mystery and potential. All the young artists I knew were living downtown, many of them in spare bedrooms rented from Chinese families. 17 Essex Gallery, MX Gallery, Lomex Gallery, Forlini's, Clandestinos, China Chalet. These were the places I hung out, and most of them don't exist anymore. The first person I ever heard say the phrase Dimes Square was my friend Aaron. He and my friend Tom, who worked at Matthew Gallery at the time, would hang out on the gallery's fire escape at 46 Canal Street, right above the restaurant Dimes. Watching the pretty girls coming and going from the restaurant, they called the area Dimes Square. I guess Dean Kissick probably heard the phrase from Tom at a Montez Press radio event sometime in the summer of 2018, and Dean passed the phrase on to Dasha of the Red Scare podcast, and it spread from there. But the capital D Dimes Square scene, which emerged from a group of hyper-online edgelord shitposters who got off on slinging racial slurs and other words tabooed by the woke art world establishment during the pandemic, is not something in which I was a key participant. I knew some of the figures involved, but I watched mostly from afar. That is, until I made the Beanstalk episode of this series last fall.
I've often heard it said that no good art has ever come out of Dimes Square.
The episode we did on Beanstalk seemed to be a death blow to a movement. The fallout from the video alienated Beanstalk from that milieu and caused a fair amount of infighting amongst the scene. And eventually Sovereign House, the scene's unofficial headquarters, would shutter its doors. Not that I take responsibility for killing the Dimes Square scene, there were many factors, but I did see something falling, so I gave it a push. The transgressions which gained the Dimes Square artists' attention during the height of woke culture no longer have the same bite in the post-woke art world of the second Trump term.
I mean, the thing about Sovereign House was, it was so, I think that outsiders looking in see it as like, oh, it's just right-wing crypto bros. But what it really was like, it was more like for everybody. I mean, they like, I'm not a right-wing crypto bro. I'm just like a poet, and a filmmaker and an actor. And so I was just excited that they let friends of mine do events there. What I liked about it is it was a place where, there wasn't, you could, in a time when there was a lot of like venues were censoring acts, they weren't. And that I think is valuable. But yeah, that's the Sovereign House ethos, for sure. Labubu. I'm kind of like a Labubu if you think about it. I mean, it's just like we were saying, like the glory days of Dimes Square was really just like, what, like 2019 to 2023?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, it's almost the reality of the city. Rents go up, things change so much. But yeah, I mean, New York is the cultural center of the world. So people do, even a short-lived scene, like had the ripple effect. It can, it's possible that it's canonized, talked about for decades, and like inspirational to people all over the world. Or, that's New York has this. I mean, it's like the idea of an art scene in New York is this thing that just like lives in people's heads everywhere. It's like a collective fantasy. So you come here to be involved in it, and that's what gives it its power. People's idea. I've enjoyed being a part of a scene because it happened to me accidentally. Like I was always like completely a loner, up until I was like 34 years old. And then suddenly I realized that what I was in was a scene. My being central to this scene was truly like luck. Like it was not a calculated move on my part. The audience of this film are like the people that was, I think it was, if I may be so bold to say, it was like an event that helped to create the scene. And so I was just seen by virtue of the fact that I was the filmmaker as like a central figure. But like really what you'll see in the movie is like, my sister and I talk about this a lot, like this film, part of the like germ was about like my loneliness, like being somebody that just like isn't a part of any group. And then the beautiful irony is making this film kind of gave me this, you know, so many friends.
Kid ended up killing. It was the kid Yeah. I would have.
Get me soy facing. Okay. Oh hey, what's up? Nice. Okay, sweet.
Yeah, and then I skipped the other parties.
Oh really? There was another party.
I've had half a drink, so
Okay,
I'm
nice.
straight pretty much.
Oh my god. What the hell? Is this a coincidence? This is so amazing to see you. It's been so long.
How are you doing?
God, good. I feel like I used to see you a lot.
I used to see you.
I know, but now
I
not.
no longer work.
What are you guys doing here? Are you seeing the movie?
Yeah.
Good. I didn't want to. I like thought maybe you're just here to get a drink, but I'm so happy you're seeing it.
Absolutely.
Oh fuck
I'm in
yeah.
town for like 2 weeks. Well, I leave on Wednesday, so I'm like,
Oh
I gotta-
amazing.
Yeah,
Thank
no,
you
no.
so much for
Yeah,
coming.
absolutely. I read your book.
You
They
did?
were selling it in a bookstore in Glasgow.
Oh,
I couldn't
fantastic.
believe it.
Did you enjoy the read?
Yeah, it was great. Were you writing that in
Yes. Yes.
I was like, is this the book he was
Yes,
working on
of
for
course.
years? Yeah.
And I actually realized in the shower that I made a huge mistake by not thanking Molasses in the acknowledgments. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't do that.
Those who know.
No, it's an if you know, you know situation, but it actually gave me a moment of like, oh my God,
Yeah,
fuck.
yeah,
Like Matt would read the book or see the book and be like, really? He's not gonna shout us out at all? He was here for like 2 years straight.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's great. It's wild. It is a wild fucking book.
Oh, good, man. Well, thank
I couldn't
you.
believe it. I'm in this random bookstore and I was like,
What bookstore?
it's called Good Press.
Incredible, see? It's a moment in the life in New York. All right, we gotta stop. I can't be on camera seeing.
I turned off the camera at Peter's request, and we went inside to watch the movie. The movie, www.rachelormont.com, is a satirical look at our hyper-online world. Set in a dystopian sci-fi future, the film begins with a young mother selling her child to an advertising agency.
Name?
Rachel.
Rachel, we would like to offer $1,000 for the custody of your baby. If you accept, you waive parental rights in perpetuity. Do you accept?
Yes.
The film picks up 31 years later as that baby has now grown into a developmentally stunted adult woman named Rachel, played by Vac's sister, Betsy Brown.
Why are you flat and bumpy?
The rest of the film follows Rachel's journey as an ad agency slave girl who is shuffled through different roles, first as a test audience participant who rates the performance of a pop star, then as a sex toy product tester, and later a live stream video content creator. But it's honestly all a bit of a blur, a relentless barrage of garish images torn from the internet. Imagine if Ryan Trecarton had directed an episode of Black Mirror. The film is well crafted, but it's also exhausting, gaudy, ugly, and evil. I was relieved when it was over. The film has generated a fair amount of hate, but I think the people who hate on this film either misunderstand it or are doing so in bad faith. The film holds a mirror up to the audience, and the reflection they see is ghastly. The natural impulse is to recoil in horror, and to shame the filmmaker for showing them such a depraved image. So the haters, disgusted with the image of themselves they've been presented, mistake an indictment of the terminally online race to the bottom for an endorsement.
Fucking dyke.
When it is so clearly the former. And yet, near the end of the film, the title character, Rachel, is released from her captivity inside the ad agency and tossed out onto the streets of New York City. You expect redemption. You hope that this woman, who has been deformed by her near-fatal doses of the internet, will touch grass and discover the real world to be a far more gratifying place than the internet. Maybe she will even be inspired to liberate the others held captive by the agency. But that doesn't happen. A title card that reads, 6 months later, hand waves over Rachel's time in the real world, and we watch her go crawling back to the cool electric embrace of mommy cyberspace. To deny the redemptive power of the material world feels like a cynical move on the part of the filmmaker, and it reminds me of a poem that Vac read at a Sovereign House poetry reading last year, in which he delivers a series of lines, each beginning with the phrase, "No, put me back," a reference to a scene in the film The Matrix after Neo takes the red pill and discovers his reality to have been an illusion.
No, put me back, I was writing the last mean Peter Vac poem. No, put me back, I was a trans-face minstrel showman. No, put me back, these wiggas was all straight-jacking my flow, and no, put me back, I was filled with emotion. No, put me back, I was fucking teen Asians. No, put me back, I lost all of my savings. No, put me back, I beat alcohol cravings. No, put me back, I was misbehaving. No, put me back, Genevieve Goffman. No, put me back, Bomb Iran. No, put me back, I remembered Bill was a Dime Square fan. No, put me back until he starred in that film of Moran.
If we analogize Vac's film to The Matrix, then Rachel would not be Neo. She would be Cypher.
I know what you're thinking. Because right now I'm thinking the same thing. Actually, I've been thinking it ever since I got here. Why, oh why, didn't I take the blue pill?
The true reality lying behind the digitally networked veil is perhaps too bleak for Vac. He's not willing to go there. It's far too challenging. It seems for Vac and his protagonist Rachel that the narrow satisfaction of a high-performing post is preferable to the deep dissatisfaction of the material world. So, better not stop posting.